against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to raise you. But I forget you're from the
Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob.
I'm Eamon.
And this is Monster Fuzz. Don't know what I did there. I was trying to think of polls and I went for the whole...
Yeah, I was kind of seeing you out of my periphery and I was like, I don't know what he's doing.
Who does that again?
That is Hulk Hogan, I believe.
Is it? Oh, I shouldn't be imitating him lately. Anyway, he's up to some shit.
Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster.
I think he's
in his nomination for Trump.
But there's also a bit more there.
What you gonna do when the Trumpomaniacs come after you?
Was he up to? I seen his name in the headlines again for something.
Headerast, is it?
No, I don't know. Probably, who knows?
Sorry, Hulk. I love you, Hulk. I'm trying to make jokes for the podcast.
Yeah, who knows? But hope everyone's doing well. Mm-hmm. We had a good weekend at the Flackyol
there in Wexford, Ireland. Yeah.
Flackyol, mate.
Flat out.
So for our listeners that don't realise what the Flackyol is, it's a Irish traditional music festival that rotates around the country and different towns host it every year. Wexford has the honour of hosting it this year, but basically what it means is like loads of footfall, like I think 1 million people over the duration of the Fla actually come to town.
And they basically close down the town and it's just walk around with pints.
Yeah.
It's
like a festival.
I haven't been that drunk in about 2 years.
I heard someone call it the drinking Olympics, which is
I can validate. It was pretty good now because basically it was funny. We were out till 4. You were out the same. Everyone hammered. But then the next day we were just watching like peak physical athletes for the whole day, steaming in the bed, you know.
Yeah, so no, it's been good. It's a novelty. So
pretty good, yeah.
Kind of enjoying that. Also, a big shout out to everyone who suggested different remedies for my foot cramps and leg cramps. It's nice to know that we've got a bunch of wholesome individuals. For the person that suggested magnesium, I do take magnesium. Still doesn't work. For the person that suggested bananas because of potassium, I have bananas every day. I have so many bananas you could call me Donkey Kong. I'm all up in them bananas.
So, any other good suggestions that you don't mess with? Someone
suggested to use, one that I hadn't done was to use like a deodorant can as like a roller. I think that was Rebecca suggested that. Yeah. And that does sound quite good actually. The whole massaging of the muscle I don't do. So maybe that is my Achilles calf,
so to speak,
as it were. You know?
Yeah, maybe bring your... Because the poor old massage place down in town is probably, just drunken lads coming in asking about happy endings. Yeah. So go down there, you'd be like, this man has an actual cramp that he needs.
Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. But anyway, thanks for the suggestions, folks. I'd like to remind everyone, actually, if you could leave reviews, especially if you're listening on Apple-based products. I was shocked and appalled to learn that on Apple, about 50% of our listeners are based on Apple products in some way, shape, or form. But to just put it into comparison, right? So about 40 or 50 listen on Spotify. On Spotify, we have over 600 reviews and ratings and stuff like that. Whereas on Apple and iTunes and all that, we only have something like 40 fucking reviews or something, lads. If you can leave a written review or a 5-star rating, that would be fantastic. It just helps the podcast. It's just one of those little interactivity things that you can do. So head on over. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you're feeling more charitable, go on to that Patreon. There's going to be that Japan video soon. Watch back on the footage, Eamon. Looks good.
Pretty class.
Looks pretty good now, yeah. It's quite fun now. I got a lot of stuff.
I'd say you're getting some good blasts of nostalgia. Well, not even nostalgia, but just memories of the holiday.
Yeah. I got a lot of cool I got some footage of the retro game places and stuff that I kind of forgot about that I had taken and stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff there. So that'll be coming soon. We also have to record an August episode at some point this month too. You can pay yearly if you want and you'll get 2 months free if you do that, as well as not having the annoying monthly subscription. It's all over there, folks. Head on over and check it out. Eamon, if they've got any spooky stories, where did I put them?
Has something terrifying happened to you? Something terrifying happened to me on Sunday. I got very drunk. I did nothing wrong. I'm a reliable drunk is the one thing, and my factory settings are good.
Didn't get sick?
No, didn't. Oh, geez, nothing like that. No, Jay's getting sick. That's for fucking children. No, I think I drank so much I lost weight.
Oh, nice.
I drank so much that my body was like, we need to work into overtime. But that was the scariest thing that's happened to me in recent memory. Thankfully, my factory settings are good. How are your factory settings? monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. Did you get so drunk that you turned into a ghoulish bastard?
Yeah.
Do write in and let us know.
Yeah, because maybe they did, Maybe at the Flackyol.
I learned how to control the alcohol as I grew older.
Yeah, maybe. Big shouts out to our new patron, Stephen McMaster. Master of puppets pulling his strings.
Twisting his mind and smashing his dreams.
Yeah. Shouts out to Justin Hale and shouts out to Asher Luck.
Asher Luck. I like that. Asher Luck.
I feel like Asher Luck has signed up before.
I feel like it's in some way taken on some of my personality.
It is, yeah.
I think I say Asher Luck, at least to myself, many
Oh no,
many
that's like
times
a thing about the two of us, that like we
Asher
always
Luck.
say Asher Luck on the thing.
It makes sense.
Yeah, no, people do say that. Eamon, today I'm going to read you off now. This will surprise you and bewilder you. Without scrolling down through it, what do you reckon the most venomous animal is? Don't scroll down through it now.
Sorry, I can see now. I did scroll down through this earlier. I would have said a snake. I know.
Okay.
Do you know the word for snake in Portuguese is cobra, which is a type of snake?
That makes sense.
Can you imagine the confusion? Can you imagine the confusion?
What did I call a cobra then?
This is it. I haven't got to that part of Duolingo yet, but
there you go.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, we're going to do a little rundown. This is surprising, and this is why we're doing it. The top 5 most venomous animals in the world, and I think you'll be quite surprised because pretty much none of the ones that I would have thought are in the top 5 really. So coming in at number 5 is a crown of thorns starfish, would you believe, Eamon? An old starfish.
Starfish.
Reaching up to about 18 inches, quite big actually. Crown of thorns starfish are carnivorous predators, and they feed them by extruding their stomachs through their mouth. And then they wrap their stomach around corals to digest the tissues.
Oh, the designs of nature.
The hubris of nature.
The hubris of nature. I do like that nature just sometimes is like, so we give these lads mouths and they just put stuff in the mouth, goes into something. It's like, what if we like shot it out?
But that is evolution, just trying to figure it out, you know? It's just like, maybe it is better if the stomach comes out of the mouth.
It's mad, but even that, like, evolution just kind of going, what if we just do this? Evolution just seems like various bosses I've had in the past that don't know what they're doing and just keep trying different things.
That's what it is, I think. And that's really class. But I suppose the question is like, what is it trying to streamline for? Is it just to be the best on this planet, right? In some way, shape or form?
No, because it has to make the whole thing, everything has to be like better and worse and equal, because you need the things that the best feed off. Do you know what I mean? You
do and you don't, I suppose. That's what I'm saying is like evolution, like is it a thing where in the grand picture, the grand scheme of things, is it just that evolution is like, you know, a galactic thing?
Do you know, like a universal.
Is the evolution of the planet even part of the whole process?
Yeah, like I kind of think that part of the evolution that we don't like, because we see ourselves as like separated from nature, but actually whatever we're doing, we're supposed to do in some way. I think there's maybe parts we drive evolution that drives us, but you would think that if it's able to like create sort of majestic creatures out of single-celled organisms, there's got to be some sort of design.
But then the Earth was created out of an evolution of sorts, you know?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that.
So
the Big Bang. What was there before the Big Bang? Just like two things just hit each other and exploded. Even that, like, that sounds almost more ridiculous than religion.
You can tell we're hungover because we're straight into existential dread talk. It's
like
the...
I always feel like this. I'm on day 2, so I'm fine.
It's the afterglow of the drink. You're like, existential
I
dread.
will say, like, my mind was... I was basically just mentally ill yesterday. Like,
I was
the
actually
stuff
grand.
that my mind was throwing at me was just harrowing and awful.
Now, stand on me that like I'm fairly well able for the drink.
You're well able
really,
for the drink, yeah.
And well able for the sesh, which is good because like I don't drink that much, but I come out. It's like Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like I'm able to come out and perform and then disappear again.
Yeah. What happens is you just put on Limp Bizkit, rolling. Rob comes in on his motorbike with a few Jack Daniels.
But I said that to everyone. I was the oldest motherfucker at this whole thing, like, and I was the first drink and last sleep.
You're
first
battle
up.
hardened.
Yeah. Well, you do a lot of session when you're younger, I think, and you get into it.
I think that's the thing as well, is that part of it is the fear of when the drink rocks you. But if you get through being rocked, you come back in the later rounds, you know? You adapt to like...
Yeah.
So now, like, man, I think I blacked out 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
And then I was just back and I was like, cool. Like, again, like I said, this will be the only time of the year that I fuck around like that. And it was fun. It was grand. But, like, it's not good.
No.
Not good.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
So back to stomachs eating things. So the venom from this creature actually can deliver a nasty thing to a human. It'll cause a bit of pain, bit of vomiting, bit of swelling, not unlike getting drunk at the flocule.
The flocule,
and the pain
man.
can persist because they normally leave spines in their victims that have to be surgically removed.
Fuck's sake.
Imagine that.
That's garbage.
Up next is the common crate. That's one of the big four, Eamon.
Okay. The common crate is one of the big four species of snake in India that cause the most deaths. So the crate, okay, I haven't heard of that snake before.
No.
The venom of common crates causes muscular paralysis that can prevent the diaphragm from moving. Good Lord. If your diaphragm can't move, you won't be able to breathe air. And if you can't breathe air, you'll asphyxiate. Not good. The snake is nocturnal and lives close to humans. Class. So you can't see him at night and he lives close to you. Simply terrifying. The snakes often bite people sleeping on the floor at night. Also
imagine
wonderful.
that's just like waking up to the old hag, except you're actually dying.
Imagine, like, stop sleeping on the floor.
It is literally sleep paralysis, like paralysis of the
horrible,
lungs, and you're actually dying.
People don't know that they've been bitten, and then respiratory failure happens in about half of all cases. So he's got a 50% hit rate.
Yeah, which is like not great. So up next we have the giant silk moth. Now, this guy is very interesting because I didn't know that silk moths can be poisonous. So
Yeah, I didn't realise moths
now,
were poisonous.
bad news for you, they're native to South America. They're covered in spikes that can easily puncture human flesh and inject an extremely potent venom. The caterpillars tend to group together on low tree trunks in the daytime, meaning the victim can be stung by many at once. Their toxic venom causes internal bleeding, and between 1989 and 2001, 21 people died in the south of Brazil as a result of their stings.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine like what I'm kind of visualizing, and I may be wrong here, is you know the way like a moth has like almost like fine hairs that come off them?
So they're like...
I'm wondering are they like little barbed hairs almost that kind of stick in your skin, kind of, you know? That is quite frightening actually.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. And I hope not to see one next time at Brazil. But in keeping with the Amazon, we have a giant centipede, the Amazonian giant centipede. I don't like centipedes.
No, not a fan.
It's, you know that part in, I was about to say Donkey Kong, the part in King Kong where Andy Serkis gets his head chomped. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it causes me distress.
Yeah, centipedes are a bit weird, especially when you see a big one. There's
too many legs.
They're rare as well.
There's
nice,
there's nice, you know, the little caterpillar fellas. They're kind of like furry centipedes. Some of them, I would agree.
Some of them are nice. Some of them are deadly.
I was in Carclough the other day. There was a little yellow and black one. And he was just hanging out on a reed or whatever.
Decided to touch him and put him on your finger. Put him on your finger. Maybe lick him and see how he gets on.
See how he get on. But Paola was walking through with me and she was like, I can't touch them. They will burn me.
Well, she's right. Yeah.
Do they?
It's right as a human. It's like basic evolutionary kind of learning ancient knowledge to not touch shiny caterpillars or anything.
No, but like, you know the way you'd be a kid, you put the caterpillars on your finger. I didn't. Maybe I'm just too old and I've forgotten, but I don't ever remember them burning me. And then I thought that maybe she was likening it to some sort of mad.
Paola's from Brazil.
Paola's from
Paola,
the wild.
Paola, God love her, is probably used to the Brazilian caterpillars. The Irish caterpillars are more like the Irish people. They're very chilled out. I don't think any of ours are poisonous, but don't take that as advice.
I don't think we really have much to be wary of with animals in this country.
Especially not now with the pesticides and all the insects are dying, dushed. We don't have to worry about them anymore. They're gone, son. You don't have to worry about them. When was the last time you seen an old insect? I never see them anymore.
I got fresh salad from Super Value. Shouts out Edit Super Value up by St. Aidan's Crescent. For everyone in America, that's where
I seen you. Yeah, I heard you were shopping up there the other day and I went, Jesus, by Eamon O'Neill's rich.
Yeah, I shop
that's
there all the time.
Rich people shop.
Do you know how we do it? Do you know what I do? Wait to hear this.
Yeah. Get a golden
They
trolley.
give you a £5 off for €35.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shop,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now what you do is you just split your groceries into two. You get a £5 and a £5. Your groceries cost you £70, but they actually cost you £60 because you get the £10 off. And then you may as well be shopping with the poverty people.
So for 70 in Super Value, you got like what, a bottle of shampoo and a loaf of bread.
Half a loaf of bread, a small loaf of bread. No man, yeah, eat well. Eat well. I'm on the pig's back out
Nigerian
here.
prince.
I'll tell you, yeah. I'm gonna get the black and gold.
No,
shirt
Niall
soon.
said he's seen you, and I went, Jesus, by
What's Niall doing up there? He's too poor to shop there.
I've got eyes everywhere.
He's too poor to shop there. Don't have our mystery and follow me around town while I'm getting my exotic vegetables.
You're watched in this town, son.
But I tell you, I got a lovely fresh little bag of salad. So fresh that there was a flower in there.
A flower.
A lovely pink thistle.
Nice. Oh, pink thistle.
And I thought to myself, What a wonderful world.
No
But,
insects, no.
No insects, but if you do,
if you
get, to be fair, I was going to say that the fresher they are, the more insects and stuff you find. And there's good protein on them.
There is, there is for sure.
Insecto.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Insecto, mosca.
Got a bit of extra protein.
Anyway, the Amazonian giant centipede. And if your friends want to follow me and if they want to look at what the finer life looks like, all our American listeners, come down, man. Check out Super Value Bet at St. Aidan's. You won't believe how good it is. Even got some pastries there the other day. Did you ever have the fried chicken?
No.
Boys aren't fucking around that fried chicken.
No,
Good.
to be fair to them now, real good deli counter and food and produce, fresh produce. Very good.
No, my wife makes me shop there.
Of course.
I'd shop out of the corner shop by the house. So this 12-inch giant centipede from South America is the largest in the world and is capable of eating, wait for it, toads, mice, and lizards.
Ligardos. You want to watch out there now with that, because that's crazy. Like the centipede, people forget about it as well. Well, of course they do. Carboniferous era,
Yes.
Pre-dinosaurs, I think. Basically, when all of the Earth's oil was basically made, that era got compressed,
right,
and turned into oil. But yeah, giant centipedes that were literally longer than people roamed the Earth.
Yeah, it's like I'd love to go back and see the kind of insects that are around then.
Giant, massive Jabberwocky spiders.
That's class.
Huge, massive centipedes, dragonflies the size of cars.
Yeah, there is
terrifying as well.
There is a Spider-Man comic where he goes back in time with Wolverine and all the spiders love him and all, and he hangs around with
that
spiders.
Kind of sounds vaguely familiar, you know.
It was, I think, I can't remember the name. They don't like each other anyway, and they have different parts of the youngley. But anyway, enough about Spider-Man and giant spiders. We're talking about giant centipedes. Its venom is delivered through claws containing a poisoned gland. I have one of them myself. It uses its venom to capture prey and to defend itself. Bites to humans are painful but very rarely fatal, and children are at greater risk of death. Do you know why that is?
Why?
Because they have less blood.
There you go.
And
Makes
the
sense.
circulation will kill them. Yeah. So the more blood your child has, the better off they are.
Yeah,
so
give them
think
blood.
about have a big bloody child.
Bags of plasma.
Big plasma baby.
Morbius.
In 2000, doctors recorded a case of a newborn being bitten by an Amazonian giant centipede and suffering from pain, blood clots, hypothermia, and edema. But thankfully, it sounds like the baby didn't die, and I, for one, am grateful for that.
Worst way to go out being bit by a stupid fucking centipede.
The other part that's really upsetting is edema. I believe that was the band of Jonathan Davies' brother, who sounds like him. Yeah, he was Korn lead singer brother.
Was he? Yeah.
I'm giving into you again.
There you go.
Sounded a bit like him. Sounded a bit like him there.
So next up and last up, this is the most, according to Live Science, the most poisonous animal in the world.
He's a bad man.
Goes down to a jellyfish, which I wouldn't have said now, but it is the box jellyfish.
I have heard. Are these the tiny little ones that are in the little rock pools?
Yeah.
Is it?
They can get up to 10 feet long. The tentacles. Well, the tentacles can. So maybe they're tiny.
No, I think I'm thinking of. There's a little weird, like black and purple one.
Right.
And apparently it's in these tiny little shallow pools. So if kids are going in and playing or trying to fish with the little nets, they can be quite badly poisoned by them. But they're just really innocuous, small looking little things.
So, the box jellyfish are found along Australia's northern coast and they're considered the most venomous marine animal in the world. They have a large, transparent, box-shaped bell with up to 60 tentacles at the base. According to the Australian Museum, that's what they're saying. The tentacles can grow up to 10 feet long, each strand having millions of tiny hooks filled with venom. Their venom is deadly to humans and can be fatal within just minutes of being stung. Each jellyfish has enough venom to kill over 60 people.
Yes. Have you ever seen those people that they get lanced with or not lanced, I suppose they get more like wrapped up in the tendrils of the jellyfish, and just that scarring on the body. It's just terrifying looking.
Yeah, and the Portuguese man of war, they'd be down in Carclaw.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen one of them.
They've drifted.
Yeah, I've seen one on the beach. I was like, what the fuck?
They are class looking.
They look like a 90s kid's toy.
Yeah, that you just like
the box jellyfish.
Steve Stretch.
It's like that colour. It's all them, that colour's like they've chosen a very 90s palette for themselves.
There is a lovely like movement to the jellyfish. And it's I think the jellyfish is the only animal that I think might be immortal. It can de-age itself. I think it's a specific type of species of the jellyfish. They can de-age, so technically they could just live forever.
Oh, right.
It's
like shaving your facial hair and letting it grow again.
I suppose.
Yeah, de-age a bit.
In a way, you're getting some volume to your moustache and
making it work.
And the thing under the lip. What's that? The soul patch?
Yeah, soul patch.
Soul plane.
Like fucking NSYNC or some shit. You know?
Bye.
Yeah, sure. That's that's the trick, and you grow it all out and then you shave it off. And then people are like,
I use my clippers.
Then people are like, what age are you at?
I don't shave it off completely.
Why not?
I think it's easier to just use the clippers.
Yeah, true. True.
And I think it look better with a little bit of stubble. I look like Jason Priestley from Beverly Hills 90210, but all fucked up and on the flack,
I don't know who that is.
He was Luke Perry's sort of foil / best friend. It was like Ryu and Ken. Do they both love Shannon Doherty? Yes. Is Shannon Doherty dead now?
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Shannon.
About a week or two ago.
And
she was a lovely lady, and Charmed was very good.
Charmed was fun. Yeah.
Did watch
3 sisters.
Charmed back in the day.
Watched a bit of Charmed back in the day.
Was one of them got mad as a bag of spiders now or no? I feel like one of them went
heavy into the Me Too stuff. Not to say that that's a mad thing to be into, but maybe she's quite
silly
vocal.
Woman.
I was like, why would you defend? But maybe she's mad in that, so you've seen some like aggressive things.
Maybe that could be it.
But there is a solid foundation of feminism and justice.
So we're going back into our origin story here of cryptozoology. What we've got here, Eamon, is a Japanese wolf. So we talk about our BBCs over in England, right? We love the BBCs.
Yeah.
But in Japan, what they've got as a cryptid is a type of wolf that's native to Japan.
Pretty cool.
So over the years, there's been sightings. There's actually some really good pictures that were taken in the 90s of this particular wolf. They're out there if you want them. But this whole article is basically just a quick roundup of them, I suppose. So we'll get you to tune in there and tell us about it.
So, Machi, Nagano Prefecture. The Japanese wolf, a species thought to have gone extinct more than a century ago, may still roam the rugged mountain terrain of central Japan. Bit of a waffle crisps there, repeating on me. But finding solid proof remains elusive despite a string of sightings. Can you do a wolf howl? Pretty good.
The dog will start cracking up now downstairs.
Sorry, I could have delayed. I'm off the fags 4 weeks.
Some man. Fair play to you.
Can't feel the difference, but I can taste the rainbow.
Is that anything to do with the wolves in Japan, or?
Yeah, well, it just because, see, when you do your aru, you're able to do it clean, but mine has like crackle in it. Mine has crackle in it.
Oh yeah.
Will the crackle stay or will it go away now that my lungs are cleaning themselves?
Yeah, that reminds me actually of Brandon Boyd actually in the latest album. His voice is kind of gone.
I would disagree with that. He has no he just does, for some reason he does staccato. I don't understand why.
No.
He stops, he doesn't lean into it. But look, we all get older, and as we get older, some things that we were good at in the past we can no longer be as good at.
I get better as I get older.
You get better.
Better at Street Fighter.
Yeah, you're better at Street Fighter 6.
The trick is to start bad. I'd say the trick is to start bad and then get better.
That's kind of the trick for life, really.
It is just start bad, have low expectations, and get better.
I think life is a roller coaster.
Say you're good at the start, because then you'll get better than being good.
Yeah. No, I think, like, to be fair, in keeping with the boy band theme earlier, life is a roller coaster, and you just have to learn how to ride it.
That's Rona Keaton said that.
That is, Now, one of the interesting things about a roller coaster is you can't learn how to ride. You just sit in a roller coaster and you hope nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
So, in fact, if life is a roller coaster, you need to be more like an engineer and learn how to build amusement rides.
A lot of people actually don't realise that Rona Keaton actually had a ghost singer, and that singer was Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam. He sang all of Rona Keaton's songs.
He did,
Rona Keaton was just the face of the operation.
I think so, yeah. Ronan Keaton actually sang a lot of Pearl Jam songs.
He did,
I don't want to go to bed again. No.
They did, yeah.
So what would Ronan Keating's Pearl Jam cover band be called?
Oh,
West Jam. No, he wasn't in Westlife. He was in Boyzone. Boy Jam. Pearl. Because it wasn't Pearl Jam meant to be Boy Jam. Not good. No. Hiroshi Yagi, who heads a non-profit organization dedicated to proving Japanese wolves still exist, believes he will one day be able to prove his hunch. While giving addresses about his work in mid-November at the famed Omachi Alpine Museum, multiple participants came forward with stories of having come across creatures they believed to be Japanese wolves. The event was held to coincide with a special exhibition about the city and the animals it used to inhabit the area. The last known sighting of a Japanese wolf, once kept in captivity in Nara Prefecture, was in 1905.
Nara's where the deer are, is it?
Yeah, the Nara deer. Did you get to Nara?
Didn't,
were they bow for you?
No, I was wanting to go, but the heat was just...
Yeah, despicable.
I was having none of it. No, seriously, it was too hot for life. It was basically, much, I need man-made AC to survive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting under a tree like a fucking chimpanzee.
Air conditioning is just like become such, like we don't use it.
The problem is snake eating its tail. We need the AC in the hot weather, but the AC is generating so much emissions that's making it worse. What can we do?
The best thing humans can do is probably
live in caves.
Fuck off.
Subterranean. Let's get into caves.
Yeah.
There is a place. There's a place in Australia where they live in caves.
Troglodyte. They're actual troglodytes.
Yeah, they live underground. I think it's somewhere in like Midlands in Australia, somewhere like in the middle of Australia. There's a place where they live in the ground.
Yeah. Any of the Australian listeners, write in.
No, I'm telling you. I was told by Australians.
The moon-eyed people used to live underground.
Yeah, no, I think it's like when I say live underground, I'm talking, and now, and this mightn't be Australia, but I think it is. They have like their houses half underground, half above ground. So you know what I'm saying? So you're only seeing like the second story up above ground, kind of, if you get me.
Right. So kind of like having a basement.
Yeah,
the basement actually is done up and has cool stuff.
The basement is the first room of the house, kind of thing.
We don't really have basements over here now in Ireland. People don't like it.
Too much radon, son. Too much radon. Too much radon.
The electric god from Mortal Kombat, he will get you if you stay in the ground.
No. But that's the correct. Nara, lovely spot, I'd say. Class, yeah. You got to meet the deer.
Yeah, well, you get cookies and then the deer assault you.
Yeah.
But like they don't really understand. Like they know there's something to do with bowing. They've been trained, but they also don't fully understand. Like they don't know it's a bow, so they just go like that at you loads of times. And then if you take out a cookie, like 4 of them just headbutt you at the same time.
That's kind of cute.
But it is lovely, and they do lots of stuff. There's you've seen lots of the little shrine guys, so like the little figurines that they have on the shrines. So they make little hats and jumpers for them, and they give them like sake and food and candy and stuff like that.
Yeah, deer are a good crack.
Deer are nice. I tell you, Japan, when you do leave Japan, you just kind of go, why would you live anywhere else though?
Yeah, you do go like, why am I leaving?
Why am I like...
Yeah. You're like, why am I leaving? And then when you get back, you're like, oh yeah, everything about that was class.
Yeah, and you go back here, the pubs are open, you're blackout drunk, lads are battering each other in the middle of town, and every trad song sounds the same as the last one. So yeah, back to Japan, I think. So this exhibition of these wolves, featuring stuffed specimens of a Japanese crested ibis and a river otter,
ibis,
as well as ibis, is it? Ibis elba class, as well as the skull of a Japanese wolf, will wind up on January 28th. All right, mate, you got my fucking skull. You got my fucking skull.
Where's my ibis?
Where's my ibis? Ibis has a deeper voice. Ibis elba.
Ibis elba.
Oh, what you doing, mate? The Alpine Museum is the only one of its kind in Japan. Wow. During Yagi's speech, multiple participants reported sightings of animals that appeared to be Japanese wolves.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, so Rob, you going to tell us about the skull that's been shipped out by Seabold?
I will, yeah. So Japanese wolves were last officially recorded in the Nagano Prefecture, Nagano, during the Meiji era, which is 1868 to 1912.
Not to be confused with the Nagano Winter Olympics that happened in 2000, I believe.
In the same place, yeah, so it would be Nagano, yeah. Despite that, there have been a string of supposed sightings in recent years and claims of having heard animals howling in the wilderness.
Classic.
So, yeah, this is like proper cryptid the territory, this creature. Yagi74 reckons he's heard this wolf howling in July 1969 when he stayed at a mountain hut as a staff member on Mount Nebasan, near the border between Nagano and Niigata prefectures. He has since devoted much of his time to tracking down a live specimen.
What's the lifespan of a wolf?
I want to say, just off the top of my head, probably somewhere between like 10 and 20 years, but I might be wrong.
Probably similar to a dog.
Yeah. Probably maybe shorter than a domestic dog, though. Possibly, maybe, because
they don't have the comforts.
No, but only 3 specimens of Japanese wolf exist at the National Museum of Nature and Science in Tokyo and elsewhere in Japan. There are no known photos of live wolves, except what I've talked about before, these alleged pictures that came out from the 90s. Really good quality and looks totally like a wolf. The only type of specimen that could identify the Japanese wolf is kept at a Dutch museum. It was shipped to the Netherlands by German Dr. Philip Franz von Siebold, who arrived in Japan in the late Edo period, which was, between 1603 and 1867. Siebold said that the foreign skull of the Japanese wolf, as well as a Yamaino, he sent them. A Yamainu is a Japanese mountain dog, apparently.
Pretty cool.
I think that's where like the Shiba Inu and all them come from. I think they're like bred down from them.
Right.
And all that type of dog. I might be wrong. But they do say like that the Doge, that Shiba Inu, they're quite hard to like, they're a tricky pet. They're a lot more like a cat, they say, in temperament.
Really?
Yeah, they're like not as like, they're a bit more aloof than a traditional dog. So a traditional breed, shall we say. Didn't notice a lot of dogs in Japan. Like they didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you don't
very
see
few.
them walking them on the street.
Very few. Very few.
I wonder, do they have mostly small little dogs that just stay inside and potter around?
Yeah, I seen like literally. I'm talking like single digits amount of dogs in.
Yeah,
Tokyo,
it's funny you're saying it, because
Kyoto.
as I think back, I can't remember seeing any. And yet they have owl cafes, cat cafes, hedgehog cafes.
Flip side is, then again, in Dublin, do you see many in the city centre? Like
you would see people walking the dogs, like not the whole time, but relatively
more often. Like
if you went to Phoenix Park or something, you see tons of it there. To be fair, maybe if you did go to, I know that the parks are a little bit smaller in Japan and there's more dispersed around, so maybe. But yeah, I can't remember seeing any.
No. The type specimen stand refers to the sample as that of a Yamainu to raise a question. Is the Japanese wolf the same as this Yamainu breed? Confusion lingers over whether the two animals are one and the same or different from each other, right? So there's a bit of confusion there on, like, maybe one's more domesticated than the other, maybe, in terms of breed, but who knows? What is clear is that the Japanese wolves were killed off before Japanese researchers took an interest in them, and as a result, little is known about the species. So classic kind of island population where, they just said, fuck it, let's kill all these bitches. I also didn't realise, like, a little aside here of, like, Japan, like, because I always thought Japan was just, like, almost like a sort of a Great Britain-esque kind of country, except in Asia, where it was like maybe they got technologically advanced sooner than the rest of the regions around them, and thus were able to conquer regions around them. But actually, like, their history is like quite cool, like, because like it was basically kind of the opposite. They repelled a lot of conquerors for years. And then they were like,
Mongolians,
now we're strong, bitch. And now it's time to fucking, you fucking bitches over there that were talking mad shit. Yeah, we're coming over.
One of the main reasons that they became like as technologically advanced, or that kind of massive zenith they had during, say, the 80s or whatever, was because after the bombs were dropped, the US actually put a lot of money into Japan, because they were like, ooh, sorry about that. But and there was such a big work drive, like that's where they have a verb, to die from work. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but because of all that and the direction they went in, they just managed to like make these great strides before the rest of the world,
Yeah, no, because like I was watching a program about it, and Mongolian invaders a lot of times. And they're like, bitch, get the fuck out. Like, it was the biggest land invasion, or like overseas invasion to land, from like since D-Day. Like D-Day was the next one closest.
I think as well,
D-Day's bigger than it, but just by a little bit.
The Japanese, though, like their samurai were trained so well, they were probably massively formidable as warriors. Now, don't get me wrong, the Mongols were no joke either, but like.
No, apparently the Mongols had the edge when they first met. Like the Mongols,
just because of their barbarism and
just their archery. They were just firing loads of arrows, and the samurai were just standing there getting shot in the head. Going, this
that did happen to me when I first played Ghost of Tsushima.
There you go. Yeah, so
I actually learned a lot of the history of that just from playing the game.
That's in that, is it?
Well, that's the whole thing, is
All
you're
right.
trying to get your uncle back from the Mongols who've invaded.
Mongolian
But it's
bastards.
kind of got some of that Assassin's Creed type stuff, so there's like elements of history. Now they're diluted severely, I'd imagine, but
Well,
looks very
Tsushima
nice.
is an actual island off Japan, right? I think.
there's Tsushima and is it Ebi Island or something like that, but there's another island you go to as well,
Yeah. So during this session, they were going and looking at these wolves. An image of a canine, this was the one I'm talking about, was seen in a mountain area of the Chichibu region in the Saitama prefecture outside Tokyo. In October 1996, this was the one that proved to be of particular interest. Spotting a mammal about the size of a Kishu dog, Yagi thought it must be a Japanese wolf and sent the photograph around. It is at least certain that the animal is valuable given the possibility of it being a surviving Japanese wolf. The reason this reads weird as well is because it's translated from Japanese. The ex-department chief said in a reply to Yagi, citing 12 features such as the air shape, shorter forelegs and blackish tail tip. Yeah, this animal had looked like a wolf. Think of like a kind of that wolf pelt look on like little round ears and stuff, which was quite interesting. But Yagi named this creature the Chichibu wild dog. He believes it provides evidence for the Japanese wolves' presence. And there was a couple more sightings there if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, so toward the end of the gathering, a member of the audience shared a surprising tidbit. Kazuyuki Tsutsui, 57, a resident of Nagano's city Shinshu Shinmachi district, said he spotted a large hound while slowing on a curve as he drove home one night 5 or 6 years ago, the beast of Bray Road. I love animals in the wild so much that I can distinguish almost all of them, but this one fell outside the scope of my expertise. But when I saw the Chichibu wild dog in a TV show, I thought, that's it.
There you go.
Pretty cool. Hiroyuki Ito, who came from Tokyo's Akashimi district, said he encountered a peculiar hound-like animal 10 years earlier at the Takusa Pass in Yamanashi Prefecture while he was snapping photographs of the starry sky. It emerged at a distance of just 15 meters around 5 a.m., Ito recalled. It was muscular and had smaller ears and a straight tail. The Chichibu wild dog in the image really resembles the one I came across. Ito also explained that he heard howls like those experienced by Yagi in the Atomi and Mikubu islands of Yamanashi Prefecture on many occasions. Yagi has renewed hope that his quest will not be in vain. He said, "You must record that howling, analyze your data, and we can help decide what kind of animal it is. Examining more than one case will help us get closer to the truth."
Now?
And I, for one, love the idea of undiscovered wolves, or rather wolves that they thought were extinct still hanging out in the...
Yeah, because it's quite strange, right? Because bears are still around over there. You would have thought they would have driven them to extinction because they're on an island, right? That happened in Ireland at some point in time. It's becoming more and more, actually, and this is something we talked about in the main Pleistocene episodes way back when. There was a time, and the studies and the research and the opinions are changing now, but there was a time where people thought that man wasn't directly involved in a lot of extinction events. But now, as the years go on, even since we started this podcast, there's a lot more studies that are probably was man.
Well,
that
even
caused
indirectly, because even if we were hunting...
Oh, well, it was
food
all
source,
indirectly. It was totally indirectly. None of it was even intentional.
So it was just that we were eating the deer or whatever, and then they couldn't get to them. Right. I thought you meant that we had hunted them down. Or
we had hunted them down to extinction,
right.
but not deliberately. So say woolly mammoths, for example, we weren't setting out to make them extinct, but we were just consuming them at a rate.
Sorry, I understand.
In which they couldn't reproduce fast enough.
Yeah.
So and it makes sense because if you think about it, say, they reckon that during winters and in sort of Eurasia and stuff where it would have been really tough to survive, that man just kind of hunkered down in caves or somewhere warm, anywhere that they could build a shelter and stay. They weren't roaming in that weather. So then you have to kill enough animals to last you a winter.
Yeah, to keep things going.
Yeah, so you'd imagine
you'd imagine as well if we got keen to hibernation patterns of bears or whatever, we just caught them in their sleep like that fucking cobra. And
then you're talking about a lot of populations probably didn't know about preservation, they didn't know about salting things, they didn't know about how to keep things over winter. So you're just getting
things, sharing it with the tribe, and you eat it all fast enough.
It would have been pretty... It's actually mad, when you think about it, it's mad that we've gotten to where we've gotten when you think about how
it's funny, I was actually watching...
conditions would have been.
Earlier today, I was watching that Naked and Afraid show or whatever. Right. It just came on and I was like, doing a workout at home, and I said, yeah, I'll put that in the background. But like, it's amazing when you look at it. Like, you have people who are like, you know, the level of civility that we're used to in this situation, and it's kind of real mad to go like, oh yeah, like there was a part where they found a turtle and they killed the turtle, and then turns out the turtle had a load of eggs, and they're like, oh, deadly, we have fats and protein now. But it's funny that like back then, the idea of macros, they wouldn't have understood, but instinctively knew, I need these eggs for like they knew nutrition instinctively almost, you know, which is kind of, it's a bit weird to think now, only because everything they would have eaten probably would have had to have been nutritious, because it's all whole foods, whereas now we're trying to like make sure we eat nutrition because we've sort of perfected the production line. Oh,
we get clannish like, and like really primitive really quick over like really stupid things.
I think a lot of the reason that what we're seeing, a lot of the polarization in various, you know, societies and like presidential elections and political points of view, is that it's that like we're still wired for that, and we try not to be, but we can't help but like revert to some areas of that kind of tribal thing.
Did you ever see that? I was only watching it today. It came out like last year, that that boating incident involving like a crowd of white people and a crowd of black people. Did you ever see that? Oh, it's hilarious. It's like, I think it's in one of the southern states, and basically what was happening was there was a boat of tourists coming into dock, right? And some dickhead had fucking tied up a shitty fucking boat where that boat is supposed to dock, right? It's a tourist boat. It's like a designated area, whatever. Some dickhead comes along, parks his boat there, and he's in the way. So they're trying to get into the dock to find your man, can't find him, whatever. So two of the crew members get off and go down the runway, the gangplank, I don't know, whatever the fuck you call it. They basically untie the boat, move it down a little bit, not even far, just like 30, not even 30 meters, like a couple of meters down. And next thing, of course, your man shows up miraculously, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing with me boat? So he's a white dude. The black dude and the other member of staff had moved the boat. So this guy and all his white buddies start swinging at the black dude, and then it turns into like a race war where a bunch of black dudes off the tourist boat start trying to get off, and there's one black lad who dives off the boat into the water and starts swimming across to get to him. And there's some comedian that was talking about it, and he was like, man was punching the water, and then like people were calling him like Aquaman and all this. But he literally, he gets up onto the fucking pontoon, the dock, whatever you want to call it, and then just starts kicking the shit out of lads. And it turns into this big massive fucking race war, and it's like over something so stupid. Like, that shows you the tribal shit. Like, yeah, totally. Straight away.
Because like, you know that logically, if someone said, you've actually parked in this place and we couldn't get you for ages, so we had to move it down, like logically you're like, that's reasonable and fair.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
But and then you have some dickhead that comes out.
But like, it does go to show as well that concepts of reason and logic, they developed over time, and we still have to fight ourselves to find reason and logic. It's like what we saw on the fucking flat the other day. Lads down outside Laughins, and everyone's just battering each other.
But that's going around in England now at the minute with the race thing.
There's stuff going on there is just like horrible.
I seen a video of a black lad in the park just getting the shit out of him, man. It's like, obviously racist scumbag fuckers, but like, it's just how quickly and stupid it evolves. The problem is that like there's elements that are legitimizing that anti-immigrant sentiment, which means that like people will take that to a fucking stupid level. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand you're entitled to protest if you disagree with something happening in your area. That's okay. You're not entitled to burn shit down. You're not entitled to abuse people. You're not entitled to fight people. Do you know, like, it's just, I don't know, it is horrible to see though. And again, like we're saying, it's showing you that ugly tribalism. It's really, to be honest, it is, I find it really really horrible. Like, there's parts where people are going, I think especially in that one in the UK, people worried about their kids. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like, and we've seen stuff like this happen in Northern Ireland. So you had the Catholic Protestant thing, the loyalist republicanism, and then at a certain point it was just either Protestants or Catholics tricking people from a different religion to come back to a house party and then torturing and killing them. Happens everywhere though.
It's just so horrible.
Like that even happens in Japan. Like I know.
Oh no, but it would, yeah. Like because we're still the same
Elysium
animals.
of Japan. Like it still happens there. Would you believe? Like no, I know of a couple that lived there, and the guy married a Japanese woman, that kids, and they just found it really difficult to integrate, and even for the kids found it really difficult, even though that they were like mixed, even though they presented pretty much as what you would call Japanese looking. They couldn't really integrate. Half a gaijin.
It's horrible,
you know.
Yeah, and like
that's just the way
like
it
is one of those things as well where Japan are kind of known a bit for having a bit of an anti-immigrant sentiment, but they're still not going around.
Their policy, you know, isolation was their policy, and understandable when you have the Mongolians. Like
that's true. Yeah, they learned the hard way.
Like,
invite them in, integrate.
Let the Mongolians in.
But it's just horrible, man. Because like, you know, and then at the end of it as well, like, it's just a horrible thing to see play out in real time now, because. Think about these people that are settling down here as well. The government's doing fuck all to integrate them properly, right? So they're going to wind up they're obviously going to be pissed off with all the Irish people that are being horrible to them. They're going to have kids. The kids mightn't have the good opportunities they should have because of the way they're being integrated. Then they grow up to, it all just starts to perpetuate itself.
Yeah, no, I tell you what we're going to do now, because we were going to talk about Fred the Vampire. We're not going to talk about him.
Fred,
well, we're going to talk about a few little funny little things about things before we finish up here, rather instead, and just be a little bit more general and a bit more broad today. Because we'll talk about that stuff, but also we'll talk about. Did you fucking watch Last House of Dragon? Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Cack.
Yes.
Cack.
It just set up season 3. Didn't give you any payoff.
Yeah, and what was really annoying, Trayvon, is and it's so true, is like apparently it was originally planned on being 10 episodes, like every other fucking season.
So they had to shoehorn.
But sure, it just made sense then, because you're like, oh yeah, episode 8 then feels like the build up to an episode 9.
Yeah, and then the resolution,
which is always the bigger one in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
is episode 9. So you're like, what the fuck?
Why did they opt to do that? Why did they?
It doesn't even make sense when you look at, like, I don't know how this show will pan out, because I do have the book Fire and Blood, but I haven't read it, so I don't know the full crack. But apparently, like, even from a pacing point, it doesn't really make sense, because next season then we'll have 2 huge battles, and there's only 2 more seasons left. So
3rd and 4th, right? Okay. So if I meant 2 more possible.
I don't know. I was disappointed with it now. I'll be honest, because I was sitting down yesterday, hungover, looking. There was a little bit of nice little thing to watch and just kind of tune out to. And
look, man, I think when I was watching it, I was just trying to survive. I felt like Aegon in the fucking trying to get out of Dodge. I was just rocked.
I did see the Dunk and Egg trailer. Though. Have you seen that yet? No.
The which?
Dunk and Egg. It's the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the TV show about. It's the novella that I'm reading at the minute. It's another Westeros thing, like.
Oh, okay.
And it actually looks like it's like proper in development. Like there's a proper trailer for it. The lad playing him's Irish, the main character, Sir Duncan the Tall.
Right.
He's the lad playing him. He's about my height, and he's an Irish lad. He used to play rugby, big fella.
All right, cool. So we're doing good for like.
It'll be cool to see him.
Warriors, because we have Mescal is Gladiator.
That's
2.
right. Yeah. It'll be cool seeing him now, because that one's going to be really interesting, because it's not as broad as like Game of Thrones. Like, it's not big swings and a Mickey. It's like a very kind of like, it'd be like The Mandalorian compared to Star Wars.
Gotcha.
So it's like that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's going to be very
so
like
one guy on his journey rather
one
than
guy and a kid. So very similar that way. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if it takes off. A lot of people think that this will sink or swim the whole HBO plans of the Westeros universe kind of thing.
They're trying to make a big Game of Thrones thing, right? Yeah, like I have to say, on the whole, I really enjoy House of the Dragon. Like I think it's a really good show, but I know what you mean about the last episode. It was
cool with the little Daenerys flash forward.
Oh yeah, all that stuff.
Gave me a bit of goosebumps.
Well, how cool. Do you know the answer to this? Because she said it to me the other day, and I hadn't even thought of it. I was like, that makes perfect sense. She was like, how come Aegon got burned up to fuck, but like Daenerys was able to walk into a fire and not get in trouble at all? And I was like, there must be a reason. I said, I'm sure there's something in the lore. I just don't know what it is.
No, I think what it is that I think no, I'm not sure, but I think what it is that Daenerys' dragons were born of magic rather than traditional. So her dragons, the way they are, the way they grow, everything to do with them is a bit different lore-wise.
But like,
so
can
I don't know whether
she be hurt by fire at all? Because she went into the fire nudies
I
and
don't
got
know.
the dragon. That was what I was confused about, because your man Aegon obviously got the breath of the... What's that bad, ugly dragon called?
It's not Vhagar. Is it Vhagar?
Is it Vhagar? I can't remember. But it's Aemon's dragon. But it's just a big gullet on it and all. It's just a
big
Komodo dragon. It's ugly. It's an ugly
I like
dragon.
him and his big fucking spooky
like
fucking dragon.
Me and Sea Smoke hang out now, fly around the place.
I know look, don't get me wrong, it's a great show, but like,
but I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah, it was like still an entertaining episode. They did a nice bit of wrap up with the sailor and his dad and kind of vocalizing what we all suspected, but I thought that was done well. It's acted very, very well. Yeah, they always are, I suppose. But like,
the standards are always quite high with HBO. But that one, I did see critique about it, and I do agree with it. That like pirate one that did the wrestling and all, she was a bit cack.
And it seemed kind of pointless. Yeah. It seemed like you were trying to shoehorn all this stuff into an episode, and then you could have left that out, because you could just cut that out altogether, and then had her be like, "Yeah, grand, let's go sailing."
It's important, I think, because there's like in the next season, then you've got the Battle of the Gullet, I think it's called. That's like one of the big battles, and then you have the King's Landing side of it. So there's two kind of big moments. No, look, don't get me wrong, cool as shit. Really enjoyed that season. Probably enjoyed it more than season 1, to be fair. But it's just one of them things, we're waiting 2 years for another fucking season, like, and they're going to do that shit. And they need to figure out this whole 2 years between season fucking bullshit. What's that about?
Is it just the amount of production? Well, that takes so much production, I'd imagine.
Sure, we were getting lost. We were having fucking 40 episodes a fucking year.
Unions, workers' rights.
Never mind them.
Child labour, bring back child labour. Kids will be able to do.
Listen, it's too long to be waiting. I can't remember shit about shit when it gets to the...
It's funny, because again, Paola, another salient point from my beautiful wife. Yeah. She said, like, she's like, what about all the people that are just going to die before the next season? And it's kind of, to your point, 2 years.
Like, it's a bit shit, like, because you're just like, I mean, I get even a year and a bit, but like, this whole... turnover is just I'd rather less production.
I wonder, do they have some sort of a logistical map, like not necessarily the creators of House of the Dragon, but HBO, or like, we're doing this is like, they must have like a pipeline of where they're gonna, because if you just overload the people, as I think Disney have found out with Star Wars, if you overload them with everything, they can't watch it all. Whereas if you're like, oh, here's another thing that you're gonna like, and then every year you have a more diverse kind of portfolio of things people will watch and stay invested with,
Yeah, I think A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think that is probably coming out in between. Probably the first season of that. Probably, I think. It looks like, judging by the trailer, like that they've shot at least quite a bit of it, like, or at least enough for a little trailer, which you would think then that they've done quite a few scenes. Like,
it's funny because things like that, then you probably don't need a pilot, because Game of Thrones was the pilot.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to like a proof of concept.
I think they do still, because like, I think that thing with Jon Snow, like that show, I think had a pilot, and there was another show that had a pilot.
Was that the one that got cancelled?
Yeah, there was one that was supposed to be, I can't remember what it was, but there was one that was like fairly fleshed out and like had its cast and everything, and they shot a pilot, and then it was just like that.
I think as well, the Game of Thrones sentiment wasn't really at an all-time high when that last season. It was just when that. Well. They've kind of gotten back to a good spot with House of the Dragon. But the other thing as well is, when Game of Thrones first came out, it was one of the only shows that was that high caliber. Whereas there's so many shows now that like the production of everything is
like
just
the last season of Stranger Things will probably be fairly big. Like,
but even crap shows like have like really high production value. Like, they look amazing. They have well-known actors in them, or people maybe that are younger actors that you'll see in other movies and you'll recognize them from there. But we watched a couple of things like Castaways, I think was one, and there's even like Tracker was a show. It was like a Highwayman type show, but the production again is just quite good, even though it's a little bit still the dialogue and blah 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 stuff like that. But just in terms of the camera work, you're like as a sort of what you'd think is a lower budget production, it looks really, really good. Yeah,
and that's kind of probably indicative of tools are getting better. Again, there's a bit of AI nowadays and all that. And so then that's why I'm kind of like, 2 fucking years? Really? Like, I gotta wait 2 fucking years for this shit? Like, I mean, I get it with, like, a fucking 90-hour video game or something, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just, maybe I'm being impatient, but it seems like it's strange where we're in a time where things are, like, less labor intensive, but at the same time, things take longer to make now.
I'd say it's down to the network. I'd say
Probably
it's just
unions
down
and
to,
shit.
yeah, for sure. And as well, you know, those jobs, a lot of those CGI animation type jobs, they're known to have terrible crunch. Same as video games, where people are just sleeping in the office, not getting home. And I'm sure that kind of, you know, work-life balance is becoming more and more of a thing.
Strange though, because you see it behind the scenes, like, and a lot of the stuff is planned out and shot before. So like all the dragon stuff in House of the Dragon is like planned and scripted on computers as they're acting it. So like the whole thing. Like, so, like, when, say, the actress that plays Rhaenyra or whatever, when she gets on is it Rhaenyra it is, isn't it, the queen?
Yeah, they all have the same
name.
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra.
No, I think Rhaenyra is her name. Then there's Rainey's. It's stupid.
Like, but when she gets on a dragon, she flies around, like, and you see all that on the screen, like, what's around her. Like, that's all already or storyboarded out and visible on a computer. To a degree, it's like
because
sketched.
they have kind of a 3D environment that they can go in.
So it's kind of, you know, when you're seeing that and it's happening as it goes, you're like,
you kind of do wonder, because they had to create everything at the start, but now it's just like it's just there,
and it's all the same stuff that was in Game of Thrones. Like they're using all the same set pieces. It's like Dragonstone, King's Landing, you know, all that.
Yeah.
So it's strange, but I don't know. Look, I'm really enjoying it. But I need to get back to Yellowstone.
I only watched the first little bit of the first episode, and then
get them engines off my land.
But I saw the first one where he like kills the horse,
and
I just knew immediately, like, Paula won't watch this. She like cruelty to animals.
No, there's not much of that though.
But even just to get her past the first episode, I think.
Well, should just put her on to episode 2, like.
I might. Is this the first episode?
Yeah.
Why is he? Just pay attention.
Just be like, pay
attention.
Most of them pilot episodes don't really matter anyway. You know, most
That's
the first
true,
time.
Yeah.
You know?
And usually the pilot is a load of setup. Like the tone changes, I find, with a lot of pilot episodes. Like the first episode of Breaking Bad, really weird tonal shifts, which again should happen in a long TV series.
Do you know that Bryan Cranston voiced Vega in the Street Fighter movie?
The animated one.
John Lee did his. Yeah. He voiced Vega. There now.
My face, my beautiful face, you bitch, it's ruined. That's what he says. Right. I think that's his only line in the whole movie.
There you go, now you know. Bryan Cranston.
That's cool, yeah. We all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So he broke bad before he broke bad. He was one of the 4 Shadaloo bosses.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Pretty cool.
No, yeah. What are you playing video game-wise? Playing anything?
Nothing.
Hate games.
Hate video games. I haven't touched anything.
Jesus Christ.
I haven't touched myself in a long time either. It's all going. All my vices, they've come out like some sort of pustule, and I'm just popping it away. No smoking. I'm never getting that drunk again this year.
All right, yeah. Revolutionary stuff happening.
I'm doing a lot of work on a rowing machine.
Oh yeah.
A lot of work on a rowing machine.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that. I'm getting doing my exercises a bit more. I was being lazy. I was exercising a lot, but being lazy.
Oh yeah.
Taking the coward's way out.
Okay.
Lifting weights that weren't that heavy. Walking on an incline treadmill.
That's a piss.
I'm getting the sweat going bad now. So
yeah,
pretty good.
I'm playing Street Fighter. Still trying. I'm getting. If I was to judge myself on a scale of like scariness, scary levels,
Scary Era.
Very scary now.
Change your name to Scary Era.
I might.
You should.
Very scary. I'm still Diamond 1, but I was up near Diamond 2 the other day. You have to level up. It's tough. You know, it's tough. Your brain is forming.
This is how you
new electrons and protons.
You will become a master.
Well, that's the plan.
You will become a master.
We're going to Evo next year.
Yeah.
I might be competing.
You could be winning the whole thing. The whole damn show.
The one to watch out.
Yeah.
But
see, Terry Bogard, Humphrey Bogard over there.
But other than that, I'm playing a bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance. People should check that out if you haven't. It's a good game.
The sequel or the first one?
The first one.
The sequel's not out yet.
No,
they just announced it recently. Yeah,
it's slow going. Like there's times where I pick it up and I'm like, literally, I'll play for an hour and I'm like, oh, I just went out and picked some flowers.
Yeah,
and went on a date with me missus.
Yeah, I watched the guy play it.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, your own wife, no flowers,
no
date.
No flowers, no attention.
I tell a lie. I have been playing the Resident Evil 1 remake.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I'm at the part with the sharks now.
Yeah, that's great.
And I've just got to the part where I thought I had electrocuted it, but I had not, and he gobbled me up.
Tough game.
He gobbled me up. Very tough.
I don't know what it's like now. How are you finding difficulty on it now? Like,
it's not too bad, but there are those kind of parts where it's just, you know, I remembered that you have to burn the Crimson House.
Yeah.
So that got me out of a few scary situations, I'd say. But even at that, with your inventory, it's very hard to carry everything that you would need. So you kind of have to go, right, I'll just have to deal with this guy. Where I think it could get very difficult is, I've been out in the courtyard doing bits and pieces, but I have to come back in, so I'm not too far away from the hunters. When they come in tandem with the now reanimated Crimsons, I think I could have something of a mess on my hands.
I got Kara for her birthday at the Japanese drum game in all the arcades, Tatsuji no whatever it is.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you know, the rhythm drum game.
Yeah.
I picked her up that on the Switch with the drums and all.
Class.
Yeah, it's real cool.
She's having a great time.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's funny. It's cool because the version of it I got has all video game music and shit on it, so it's fun. Like it's like the old Guitar Hero kind of vibes. Like it's fucking tough.
Yeah. I'd say so. All those things. Yeah,
them rhythm games, like they're fairly tricky. Like
I'm reading a good bit of Joanna's book as well.
I'm
more than halfway
through
that.
Yeah,
so
how you find them?
It's great, fantastic. Yeah, I'm loving it. Like, so I want to finish it, and then when I finish it, I was going to email her and just say thanks very much or whatever. Very, very good. So again, if anyone, the Gingerbread Men, if anyone wants to check it out, it's well worth it.
Yeah, we might try and have Joanna on again around Halloween, maybe. I'm not sure if she has like a podcasting setup, like in terms of like she's able to record or sit on Zoom or whatever. So we'll see. We might be able to sort that out. But yeah, just thought today a little bit hungover, didn't want to scour the internet too much for stuff, so a little bit of a chat about games and TVs. Always good at the end of it.
Fun stuff, yeah.
Fun stuff. Because like sometimes, like if we were probably doing the podcast around the time of Game of Thrones, I probably would have been like, yeah, I want to do like I want to do an episode on each fucking episode of this shit, because like I was deep in Game of Thrones. But yeah, so it's nice to actually talk a little bit about those things on the pod. But we'll leave it there for today. There was something I was wanting to say. Oh, actually, yeah, I've got my game stuff set up now, like my display. So I'm going to do a rundown of that on Patreon. I'm going to do a little video where I talk about all the bits of my collection and, you know, kind of talk about a couple of the games in it and stuff. Quite a lot of shit there now after getting it all out of boxes, which is nice. So that'll be coming soon. Have you got anything you'd like to say?
Nah. No. Take care of yourselves and each other, in the words of the late great Jerry Springfield.
There you go.
Jerry Seinfeld, who I maybe said that.
I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Monster Fuzz, over and out.
Bye.